Hey, it's Monday. I know I just did a makeup video yesterday, but I've been looking for... I misplaced my favorite blue eyeshadow palette in my apartment somewhere. I've been looking for it for weeks. Found it. This palette, oh my God. Okay, it's ColourPop High Tide. Look at these colors. I mean, seriously, like, holy shit. This is like holy grail. Best blue palette ever. I am so stoked I found it. And so I'm going to play with it today. I know, I'm like a 5-year-old. I can't help myself. Well, you know, makeup should be fun. You should feel like a kid, like a 5-year-old, you know, that you get to play in the makeup and have some fun with it, you know? That's how I always feel anyway. Maybe I just never grown up. What can I tell you? All right, brow time. Yeah, this palette, I'm so happy I found it. Yesterday was a pretty good day work-wise. I did okay. I'm not taking the kids to school this week, so that means I don't have to get up super early. And for that, I am happy. And I was hoping to get up earlier and be gone. Oh my God, what? I feel like is this like my unicorn horn growing right here? These little, they stand up. They're vertical. Why? I don't understand. And I did throw a little hairspray on just to help with the flyaways, because I do drive with my windows down sometimes. But for some reason, these little guys up here, they never lay down. Oh, well. Anywho. Life is beautiful. How was your weekend? Everybody have a good weekend? Over here where I am, it has been, I mean, I don't want to, I live in LA, okay? We always have nice weather. I almost feel, I don't want to rub it in anyone's nose that's cold and snowing or anything and raining, but you know, it's a thing. And it was really nice. That's all I'm going to say. In my Forrest Gump moment for today, that's all I have to say about that. But work was good. Work was busy. I kind of did like a couple of half days where I didn't stay out the whole 8 to 10. I just stayed out for like maybe 6. I swear to God right now. Okay, here we go. Oh my God, I'm such a dork. I'm sorry. My boyfriend and I were talking on the phone last night, and we got the giggles. It was hilarious. I don't know if you guys know who Dennis Miller is. He used to do the Weekend Update on Saturday Night Live years ago, and he had his own hourly show on HBO, Dennis Miller Show. And this guy was just hilarious. And all he did was basically hold up a mirror to planet Earth and to humanity and how silly we are all the time. And man, he just got it. And a lot of times he would talk about his children. And one night he said, my kid said the funniest thing last night, and I'm still giggling about it. We were all sitting around the table after dinner and somebody tooted and his kid busted up laughing, giggled for 5 minutes. And Dennis is like, what is going on, son? And the kid finally took a breath in the middle of this uncontrollable giggling. And he said, Daddy, burps and farts are funny. So every once in a while, one of us will say that and we just crack up at it because it's true. Anyway, that's so now I'm thinking about how much we were giggling over that last night. I need a Kleenex and I need a makeup wipey. Okay, hold on. Don't go away. Here, partake of the awesomeness that is this palette while I run over to the other side of my apartment. Justin! a moment. Hold, please. And of course, now that I start filming, what do? Leaf blower outside of my window. Ay. I don't know if you can hear that or not. Okay. Oi. I put my phone down so you could look at the palette, just because you don't want to watch me gimp around my apartment on my one bad knee. So, anywho. All right, brows are done. And I'm trying to not get my eyes all teary again from yesterday. Whee. Yeah, that's one thing. Man, my boyfriend cracks me up. He is so funny. It's one of the things we love about each other is how we make each other laugh all the time. And I don't know. I don't know how we do it, but from, you know, I'm in LA, he's in Florida, and from all that distance, it's still half the time we just pick up where we left off, and it's like he's here. I mean, we find ways to stay connected, and you know, it's not our first choice for how things should be, but it is what it is. I don't know if I told you guys the full story of how we even met. I play backgammon, as I'm sure you've ascertained over time, and we were on a website playing backgammon, and that's how we met. Basically, there was another website that was administered by MSN. It was the Gaming Zone, and they decided to close the zone down. And there were probably 300 or 400 of us that were always in the backgammon sphere playing against each other. We did, you know, tournaments and leagues and ladders and all kinds of different stuff. And we just were always playing against each other in these groups. And once they closed down the zone, it was like, well, where are we going to go now? And unbeknownst to me, he was in the spades part of the zone. So we were both in there at the same time, but we didn't know each other. What I'm going to do is use the Milani Gilded Gold as for going in for an assist. This is the color story for this one. And what I want to do now is just go in with, dang it, oh God, please don't break. Ha! It fell face down, nothing broke. I'm going to go in with this one here in the middle as my blending shade. And that one is called, Loop, I-O-O-P, Taupe. Okay, I'm going to go close up. You tell me the name of this shadow right here. This one. Is it T-O-O-P? It's not an L because it would be capitalized. I can't tell what that is. Anyway, using that one. That one's going to go my all-over color for just to lay something down. I wanted to put a little color that's not just the bronzing color, the color of my bronzer. I wanted something a little more, a little deeper. So anywho, where was I? Dennis Miller, cracking each other up. If we were watching The Princess Bride, the answer to where were we is Australia. Anybody seen Princess Bride out there? It's one of my all-time favorite movies. That is a hilarious movie. Oh, I was talking about my boyfriend with the zone and all of that stuff. Anyway, so when they closed down the zone, there were all these people that were kind of like looking for a new place to play. And, you know, a couple of other websites opened, but none of them were the same. They used different graphics. The programs were slower. The dice were not randomized. There was lag, like you'd be playing a match and everything would freeze, so you couldn't continue with what you were doing. It was just not good. And then this place opened up that we were in, that we ended up playing at. And it was just so much fun opening day. So that's how we met. I was just bumming around, looking around for the people that I knew. And what do I want to start with? I think I'm going to go with this one. Well, let me look, hang on. It's like seeing an old friend. Can't make up my mind. All right, I'm going to try this one first. And this one is called Flora. So yeah, we ended up playing a match against each other, and for like 5 hours we sat. And you know, the way that this website works is you're playing in real time and chatting with your opponent in real time. Oh yeah, that's a nice, it's like a slate blue. Good neutral. It's like a neutral blue. If that's, I don't know if it's a color, if it can be a neutral. I mean, I've heard that navy blue is a neutral, but I don't know. Anyway, so we ended up sitting at this table across from each other. And, you know, I'm a grammar nerd, okay? If I see a meme that has a typo in it, I won't share it. I refuse to perpetuate bad grammar. I'm not doing it. If I see a typo, like if I'm watching closed captioning, it's like, idiot, you know, or if they use the word there instead of THEYRE, or, you know, whatever. If they have the wrong tense of a word, it drives me nuts. So here I am sitting across from this guy named Rob, and we started to play the match. And you know, you're typing, hi, how are you, where are you from, you know, blah, 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 whatever. And usually I type a sentence and it's like a calendar year before I get the reply back, because I can see them over there typing, like either that or like with their toes or whatever. But you know, he was fast. He was a really fast typer. On top of which, he was punctuating everything correctly. YOOURE in the middle of a big paragraph that took him that long to write. So I'm like, okay, the boy's smart. That's cool. Who is this guy? You know, and okay, wait, hold on. I'm going to go in with this one, a little bit brighter one now. I'm just playing here. So we started to really, you know, talk about whatever. And he started to get a tiny bit, the littlest bit flirty, a little, but it wasn't gross. It wasn't like I thought that he was taking his clothes off over there or anything. It wasn't like that at all. It was actually very classy. He found ways to like interject, you know, fun little flirtatious stuff in the conversation. And I'm thinking, okay, this is fun, you know. 4.5 hours later, he asked me for my number. And of course, I'm like, okay, what are you thinking? He's in Florida. Why am I even thinking about giving him my number? And of course I did. And it still took us another like half hour to finally sign off. But he did call me a few minutes after that. And when the phone rang, of course I knew it was going to be him. And I said, you must be Rob. And he said, you must be Denise. And we just sat there like giggling for a couple of minutes over absolutely nothing. It was just really funny. And then we started to talk about just, you know, how much fun it was to sit in the, you know, in the room and talking and on the internet and whatnot. And then he said, I need to tell you something. And I'm thinking, okay, here it comes. This is what he said to me. You know, I'm just really not that much of a phone guy. So I just really don't talk on the phone that much or that well. And, you know, but I didn't want to sign off, but it's getting late over here. But anyway, I just really love, you know, it was just really a lot of fun talking to you, but I'm just not that much of a phone guy. So I'm, you know, if I want to hang up after a couple minutes, please don't be offended. And I thought, you know, that's actually very classy, because if I don't like him, decide that I want to hang up, he's not going to be offended. And if he decides he wants to hang up, I can't be bothered by it, because he just told me he's not a phone guy. So that was pretty cool of him. And this is a little bit patchy, isn't it? Yeah, it's a little patchy, but that's okay. I'm going to do the eyeshadow equivalent of putting glitter on it. Because I'm going to put this one in the middle called Must See, SEA. That one's going to go over here. So anyhow, it was just a really cool beginning to this conversation. And I said, okay, that's cool. Yeah, thanks for telling me. And then, where do you live again? And then we started talking. 20 minutes later, he says to me, I'm really enjoying this conversation. You're really easy to talk to. And I'm thinking, score, because it was just really nice to hear. And then another 15 or 20 minutes go by and he's like, okay, I don't know who you are, but where have you been? I don't think I've ever talked to my mom this long. And I'm not even looking at how long we've been on the phone. I'm usually a clock watcher because I don't want to stay on for longer than 10 minutes. And, it's been 45 and I don't want to hang up yet. And I'm thinking, okay, thank you, And then a little while later, it's been another hour. So where did I put my brush? There it is. It's now been like 2 hours on the phone. And he's like, okay, it's seriously late over here. I really need to go. But I have to tell you something. I don't know who I am anymore. Okay, not only do I not know you, but I want to know you. But, I'm shocked. I can't believe that I'm still talking. And what are you doing tomorrow? And I said, well, I'm not really sure. What are you doing? And he said, well, I'm calling you as soon as you text me that I can call you. And, that was like day one. And, we're still talking all this time later. And, when we first started talking that first day, we were both living in our domiciles with our respective exes. So I was living in this apartment that I'm in now with my ex. We don't have any kids. And he was living in his house with his technically still wife, because he's technically not a free dude yet. I know. But that first, night, we were just getting to know each other a little, and we didn't confess to who we were living with for quite a while. It took a couple of months, but when you're talking on the phone with someone every single night, you start to get a sense for who they are, Oh, out on the outer corner, I put on this one just now, which is Lunar. I would think that a lighter one would be Lunar, but okay. Anyway, so we just really started to, talk almost every night, and we kind of bonded because we were both living with our exes, and it's like, okay, you're not going to believe what happened today. And I'm like, yeah, well, you're not going to believe what he said to me. And so the first couple of months, we didn't talk about that. But then once we did finally make the confession that we're living with our exes, it was almost like, okay, a whole nother level of communication opened up. And, it was in the summer, and by like November of that first year, I was kind of like thinking that I'm really starting to like this guy. And so one night we were on the phone, and I'm like, okay, I need to tell you something. I like you. And he says, yeah, I know. I really like you too. I'm having a lot of fun talking to you. And I really, feel like if we were in the same place that, something. And I said, yeah, I know, but we got to figure this out, because I don't want to keep doing this. I'm not going to keep talking on the phone, and I don't want to get emotionally invested in someone I haven't even met yet, and B, who is still technically married. And he said, well, we're not sleeping in the same room. I said, I know, you've explained everything. And it's true that entire time, I mean, it's midnight, 1 a.m. on the East Coast, and never, ever did it happen where I gotta go, and he's never been whispering, and he's talking in a full voice because his room is way on the other side of the house. The kids are upstairs. The wife has the master suite on one side. And, basically what happened when their marriage fell apart was they both went to their respective divorce attorneys to talk about custody. And what they determined was that plan A is 50-50 shuffle, which neither of them wanted to do, because that would have just not made any financial sense. Because then you have to have 2 houses, 2 mortgages, Color Street Triflex, by the way, 2 houses, 2 mortgage, logistical nightmare, who's going to take the kids where, what time, when, blah, 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 and all of that crap. And besides which, I don't know an adult that would live in 2 homes, and yet we put our kids through it. And, that's another conversation for another time. But you know, I know that it's a necessity sometimes, but that was not the plan for them. They did not want to do that. So plan A, no. Plan B that they thought about was one of them take full custody. But they didn't want to do that because that would have meant that dad gets to go visit his children whom he loves into the next life, or that mom gets to go visit her kids that she loves into the next life. And between the two of them, they didn't want to do that as humans to each other, put each other through that, even though they weren't in love anymore. They still had enough humanity for each other that they didn't want to do the 50-50 shuffle or the full custody thing. And, you know, he's a software engineer, makes a good living. She was in, I think, in finance or something, banking. So they were both making a really good living, and they're living in this really, really big, pretty house in Florida. And the house has a guest room. So between the two of them, they said, all right, we'll tell the kids that mommy and daddy aren't sleeping in the same room anymore because daddy snores. And he took the guest room. She stayed in the master. And they told the kids, you know, we're still a house. We're still a family. We're still a unit. Everything is fine. But we're just not sleeping in the same room anymore. You know, nobody's moving. We're together. We're a family. And between the two of them, they said, okay, well, we're going to just raise our kids in the loving, intact home that we promised when we had them. And we will stay in the house until the kids are up and out no matter what. And that happened when the kids were in grade school. And when I met him, they were in, I think, 9th and 10th grade, or 11th and 10th or something like that. So I already knew from the get-go that nothing was going to happen for several years because, you know, they're not moving. They're not doing anything until their kids are up and out and launched officially. And I thought, you know, long distance relationships don't last. It's fine, whatever. You know, I didn't really think I was going to end up getting emotionally involved, which is clearly what happened because the kids are all up and out and married, and his son's going to have a kid pretty soon. And, you know, but during that time, though, his son did have some trouble embracing higher math. And since he wanted to be an engineer, I need to dip again. I don't normally do that, but this tube is about halfway done. Anyway, so his son was having trouble with math. And after his freshman year in college, he was in a house that first year with 3 other guys. So there were 4 guys sharing this 2-bedroom, 2-bath house. And one of them moved away to be with his girlfriend, and another guy changed schools. And so it's just these 2 guys left. And, you know, he had to move back home, which kind of sucked. And then when he was a sophomore, he had a really hard time with math, almost flunked out. And, you know, dad is an engineer. Dad's a software engineer, my boyfriend. And he's like, how can a child of my loins not get math? I don't understand how that happened. So it was kind of like this, you know, thing where trying to get the kid okay with the math. And then the daughter graduated high school and went off to college to become an environmental scientist. And she's living, I think, somewhere near, I think she's in Washington State. But anyway, so, you know, all of these things are happening, and they never told anybody what's going on, that they were going to separate, because why? You know, all right, kids, hurry up. We want to get out. No. And, you know, it's going to come as a surprise to no one when they finally do announce that they're going to separate. But for now, the kids are gone and up and out. But the home that they were in was underwater on the mortgage. So there were times when they wanted to sell but couldn't. And then when they finally did sell, there were family stuff happening with her dad and with his mom, and, you know, illnesses and taking care of the family. And it's like, well, I know your mom's really, really sick, but I want to get out now. Foundation, my favorite elf. So a lot of it was down to timing. And, you know, where's my brush? I just had it here a minute ago. Oh, come on. Well, you know, I really don't even need a brush. I can just do the dot thing, which I have done in my past. I was kind of like a late proponent of brushes. I hardly ever used them at all until the last maybe, I don't know, decade or so, 5, 7 years. I do get better coverage with the brush though, I think. But a little more up here. Anyway, I just kind of pat. I don't like to rub. I don't know if you can hear the gardeners outside or not, but they're just outside my window. So anywho, we had all of this like logistical stuff happening, and yeah, it kind of doesn't really, I don't have that much coverage today, but I'm fine. I can live with that. Now my hands are a mess. Oh well. Just one more way you can wear this foundation though, actually. Yeah, I'm fine. It's fine. It'll be fine. So anywho, there's just been this years long like saga of trying to figure out how things are going to go. And you know, between the two of them, oh, how do we see each other? Between the two of them, as they were having their discussions about how to move forward, even though they're not going to move out of the house, basically, they decided to institute a don't ask, don't tell policy. Which basically means lie to me, you know? I mean, if you're going to go out and have a date with someone, tell me you're working late. Tell me you're going to go visit your mom if you're going to go traveling, if you're going to go anywhere, you know? Tell me you're going to go see your sister. Tell me you're traveling for work. Whatever. Don't want to know, don't need to know. Which I think is, you know, okay. If it works for them, it works for them. That's fine. So that's what he told her the first time he came to see me and every other time since then. That he's traveling for work because he does travel for work sometimes. And you know, that situation for them works. And it's not my ideal situation either. But once we actually met, we got along like a house on fire. I mean, just, I'm not going to give you the gory details, but we blend really well. And, you know, the things that matter, music, movies, politics, money. Neither of us want any more kids. That ship has definitely sailed. You know, the way that we like to keep our house. He's a little bit more neat than I am, but that's fine. I'm just here by myself. So if things get a little messy, I don't give a fuck. But, you know, when we're together, I am more neat because that's, you know, that's the thing. And on, you know, a lot of other things, it just, we have a lot of sensibilities that are the same. And I was a little bit surprised at how it's like every time we talk on the phone, even now, there's stuff that it's like, oh, well, yeah, one more thing we agree on. And we just gel. We just mesh really, really well. And I'm, you know, optimistic that things will finally solidify because we're waiting for a home. He's in a house that's owned by her dad who passed. And it's on a lake. It has a cottage. It has a boathouse. Well, boathouse/cottage. And we've just been waiting for a lot of things to happen. And they finally did happen. And then the market decided to take a dive. And their house lost a lot of value. And, you know, I'm a patient woman. Everything that I've been able to suss out has sussed and checked out. I don't think that he's just, you know, playing me or whatever. And I'll tell you why. The first time that I went to go see him, we love the band Chicago. And Chicago has a song called Beginnings. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, go listen to it right now. Go get the lyrics. The song Beginnings was written by a guy who's so in love with his wife that he can't even talk. Mostly I'm silent. It is such a fabulous song, and we both love this song. So the first time I go to see him, we do the thing in the airport, you know, the rock in the river. People are telling us to get a room. We get out to the car. He starts the engine, and, you know, it's summer in Florida, so it's hot, and he's got the AC going, and we're, you know, making our way out of the parking structure, and he turns on the stereo, and oh, this is Sugar High, my perfect nude. I like to have a less bold lip if I've got a bright color on my eyes. So anyway, so we're leaving the airport, and he turns on the stereo, and the Beginning to Beginnings comes on, and I'm like, oh, that's so cute. You got the song we love. And he's like, yeah, okay. And a couple seconds later, it dawns on me that this is not the song, you know, it's not the version of Beginnings that we know and love. My boyfriend got a karaoke version of this song so he could sing it to me. Oh my God, who does that? Has your husband or boyfriend ever done that for you? I ask you. And if he has, then you know exactly how I felt when he did that. I was just like, shut the front door. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And he sends me cards. And, you know, every single time that we talk on the phone, he's trying to make me laugh. And there's just, he finds little ways to let me know. And I'm here for it. I'm telling you. And the idea of anybody else, of like starting over with someone new right now, no, I'm not doing that. I can't. And the idea of anybody else touching me, makes my skin crawl, clearly. I'm all in. I'm all in, I admit it. And, you know, if the unthinkable happens, then I went into it with my eyes wide open. And, you know, I have learned a lot from him. He's you know what? He's a good guy that's stuck in an impossible situation, just like I was. And, I say was because, believe it or not, oh my God, my ex actually died. He passed. It's going to be 10 years, and I still get a little bit emotional talking about him because his name was David, and they broke the mold when they made David. Oh my God. David was a good guy. He really was. I'll talk more about him next time. But anyway, so yeah, face. I got the blue. I'm so happy. All right. That is it. Thanks for listening to me babble. But now you know, like most of the whole story with me and my boyfriend and how that happened, and, you know, why I'm not going anywhere. Well, unless it's to Florida. But yeah, this thing, I'm telling you guys, if you can find this palette, get it. It's amazing. I don't know if you guys wear blue. Anybody can wear any color. Don't let anybody tell you you can't wear blue or you can't wear anything. You can wear whatever the hell you want. So if you can find this palette, get it. I'm telling you, you will be happy. And that's it for today. Have a happy day, you guys. Bye.